May we all learn from nature. Sufi teachers say that probably one of the holiest sacred manuscripts is nature itself. The Quran says repeatedly, there are signs of God in nature. There are 700 verses in the Quran that extol nature. And there are many verses that take an oath invoking nature, by the dawn, by the fig and the olive. And the Quran says that in nature you will not find any flaws. So to illustrate this, there's a beautiful mullah story where the mullah is resting underneath a huge mulberry tree. And he's pondering on these verses of the Quran, especially the verse on the Quran which says, an astonishing verse. The Quran says, the creation of the heavens and the earth is a greater matter than the creation of humanity. But humanity understands not. And the mullah, as he's contemplating on these verses in nature, he suddenly gets an insight. And he says, excuse me, God, there's something I want to tell you. It's a bit of a criticism, but I hope you don't mind, because there is room for improvement for all of us, human and divine. But I'm noticing that as I look out there, I see on the ground very flimsy creepers and vines. And there are some huge watermelons. And here I am resting underneath this huge mulberry tree which has the tiniest of berries. There's something like a flaw in the feng shui of your divine design. And as he's going on in his criticism, a little berry, mulberry berry from the branch, comes off the branch and lands on his head. And now he's graced by a different insight. He says, oh my God, what if that berry had been a watermelon? So he says, let me think again. So this is a sort of a funny story to let us know that we can learn about every aspect of our life from nature. The Sufi sages say, look at the fruit tree. It gives and gives and gives again and again to the rich and poor all of its fruits. And it never consumes its own fruits. We can learn from the nature about graciousness and generosity. The Taoists say, have you not noticed? All the rivers, they flow into the ocean because the ocean lies lower than the rivers. This is about humility. I love the wonderful poetry by the 14th century Hafiz, who says, the earth would die if the sun stopped kissing her. But even after all this time, the sun never tells the earth, hey, you owe me. See what happens with a love like that? It lights up the entire sky. This is about unconditional love. I, as a Muslim cleric, I love the insight about exclusivity in nature. The Sufi masters say, all the rivers flow into the ocean. Jamal, you might be following one river, but please do not mistake the river for the ocean. And of course, I love interfaith. Rumi says, the branches of the tree, they sway differently in the tree, but they're all connected at the roots. May we all look upon nature as the most holy, sacred manuscript and learn from nature. Thank you.